Hello and welcome to this new video. Today we are going to look at a very underrated anime. This one starts with an attack. We see how Misaki finishes off a complete squad. The reason for this is that a clan member was killed by them. They try to find more information about the culprit through this. At some point Mikado, who is the leader of the clan, shows up. After questioning the people, they leave the building. But before they can leave the building, they meet the Blue Clan. The Blue Clan is led by Munakata. The special thing about the leaders is that they all have a sword of Damocles. Through this sword, they have superhuman abilities. In the meantime, we get to know Yashiro. Yashiro is rather an outsider at school and not very popular. He comes under suspicion of having murdered Tadara Tasuka of the Hamra clan, and has since been hunted by several gangs who are out to get him. While Yashiro is running around, he is also being pursued. The pursuers are Kurou and Misaki. After a while, Kurou was able to catch him. Afterwards he shows him a video of a man, who is apparently the perpetrator of the clan member. This perpetrator looks exactly like Yashiro, which is why he is also being chased by the clans. But before Kurou could harm him, he manages to escape with the help of stun grenades. Meanwhile, the clan members bet 10 million yen on Yashiro. To that we also get to know Anna. She is colorblind, except for the color red. But while using her red marbles as a catalyst, she is able to see other colors and use her abilities. A few hours later, Yashiro arrives at his lodging. There, he notices a strange girl lying next to him. She introduces herself as Nico. Nico was the cat of him. A little later, Kurou also showed up at the apartment. Together they then engaged in a chase. Nico has the ability to conjure illusions. This illusion also delayed Kurou for a while. At some point they decided to make a truce. The reason was because Yashiro wanted to prove to him that he was innocent. In the meantime, we also see, again, the fight between the Blue and the Red Clan continues. But there was no fight, because Mikado let himself be arrested. He did this because otherwise he would destroy the whole city. Because the clan member who was killed was a very good friend of his. After a while Misaki also finds the whereabouts of Yashiro. Along the way, a festival is also held. At this festival Yashiro and Kurou also become more and more friends. At some point we also see Fushimi. Fushimi is one of the Blue Clan. He is also looking for Yashiro. At some point we see that he meets Misaki. A short time later they start to fight because the two clans are enemies. During the fight, we get that Fushimi was with the Red Clan at the time. He left the Red Clan because he was convinced that he would be much stronger in the Blue Clan. After an exciting fight, Sari joins in. She stops the two of them because they can't have a fight in the middle of the day. After that, they also went their separate ways. In the meantime, we also see Mikado sitting in prison with handcuffs on. In jail, he thinks about his murdered clansman. His name was Tadara. We see that Mikado always took care of him back then because he was the weakest clan member. He was also one of the first clansmen from the Red Clan. Accordingly, the two knew each other for an eternity. That is also the reason why he would destroy the city for him, just to find his killer. That's why he let himself be arrested. In the evening we see Yashiro and Kurou standing on a soccer field. The reason was because he thought he lived there. However, it turns out that there is no apartment there. Because of this, Kurou finds that his memories seem to be manipulated. While the two are talking, the Blue Clan has surrounded the entire stadium. Their goal is to capture the two. But before they can do that, Nico creates an illusion. Through this illusion they manage to gain some time. But the Blue Clan saw through this very quickly. Sari and Kurou start to fight. But suddenly a sword of Damocles appears. This was that of the leader of the Blue Clan. The leader wanted to take care of the problem personally. With his power alone, he dissolved the illusion. Kurou stood alone against the leader and provided an escape route for the others. But it quickly becomes clear that the leader is far too strong for him. Kurou tried to fight him off somehow, but it was futile. He was much too strong for him. At some point Yashiro reappeared, because he remembered who he actually was. Yashiro was the Silver King, with the silver sword of Damocles. Through the power from the Silver King, the two were able to escape easily. Yashiro remembers again, which caused him to lose his memories. He was pushed out of the plane by a fake Yashiro. As a result, he suffered a concussion. To that he realized that the real murderer of Tatara must be in the airship. In order to catch him, he calls Munakata. He told him that this airship belongs to Adolf Weissman. Weissman was the first king who possessed a sword of Damocles. To that this one became immortal by the power. Munakata starts hunting for the man in the airship shortly after the conversation. Together with the Yashiro, they board helicopters to get to the airship. But before they reach the airship, it explodes in front of them. Shortly after that, we get a flashback. This flashback is about the origin story of the kings. We learn that these powers come from a tablet. After the flashback, we see the body of Weissman. He seems to have died in the crash. A little later, Mikado gets a call from prison. He introduces himself as the murderer of Tatara. He is the colorless king who can jump into people in order to control them. He tries to do the same to Mikado, but Mikado was able to resist him. Shortly after, Mikado set out to catch the killer. He broke out of the prison with ease. On the way, he met Sari. She wanted to stop him, but she was no match for him. With the help of his red power, he defeats a complete troop without further ado. To that already his clan waits for him. To stop Mikado, Munakata sets out. When they meet, he tells Mikado that if he continues, he will destroy his sword of Damocles. If he destroys this, then the whole environment will be destroyed. But he doesn't seem to care. He just wants to find the murderer of his friend. While they are talking, the Red Clan has surrounded the school, because apparently the colorless king should be there. Since the Blue Clan has a problem with this, they also come to the school to stop them. Without further ado, the clans also started to fight each other. Meanwhile, the colorless king tries to control Yashiro, but he does not succeed. Afterwards, Yashiro also remembers again. He realizes that the Adolf is Weissman. He is the real Silver King. The man in the airship was his body, but his soul is in Yashiro. And now that he knows who he is again, he can use his old powers. These powers allow him to fly. He can also transfer them to others. Along the way, we see Mikado fighting Munakata. Yashiro tries to evacuate the students from the island, because Mikado's sword could break. This would destroy the whole island. In the meantime, the colorless king has hidden himself inside a student. His goal is to bring the Red and Blue King under control, because he knows that the two are fighting right now and are accordingly weakened. But Yashiro comes to prevent this. The colorless king tries to control Yashiro again. Only this time he seals it inside him. This way he can't leave his body anymore. After that was done, he sets out to stop Mikado and Munakata. But it was already too late, because Munakata managed to defeat him before the sword of Damocles hit the ground. This also ends the first season of the anime. I hope you liked the summary. Please leave a like or comment to support me a little bit.